Hi, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell for Distraction. Today I'm calling in from San Diego, California, where I'm attending the American Psychiatric Association meeting. But I wanted to make time to comment on the terrible tragedy that the world is reacting to in Manchester, England, where 22 children, adults, human beings were killed and another 59 were injured by a suicide bomber. And, you know, this happens now so frequently, we almost have a built-in response where we say, oh my God, what are we supposed to do? And that it kind of stops there. I mean, it's this terrible feeling of helplessness that one of the worst feelings a person can have is a feeling of being in danger and not being able to do very much about it. And I think that these horrible tragedies that seem to just occur with almost a periodicity to it, you know, you almost kind of know, okay, when's the next one, and when's the next one? And they have created a global feeling of fear. And then the response tends to be, you know, sort of shutting the barn door after the horse has left. I mean, now we learned that the suicide bomber targeted the exit, particularly the exit near public transportation. So you can bet on it. We're now going to have stepped-up security at the exits to these venues near public transportation. You know, it's why we have to take off our shoes before we get on airplanes because of the shoe bomber. And so now, years later, we're all taking off our shoes because of that one episode. Again, the barn door was closed after the horse left. And, you know, that's understandable. You enter schools, they often have metal detectors. You have to sign in, sign out. Why security in all big buildings is so intense. It's all a reaction to this feeling of helplessness and our wanting to do whatever we possibly can to prevent it from happening again. And, you know, we're advised to report any suspicious-looking person. We're advised to, you know, with these little different levels of alert, again, in an effort that I fear is a futile effort to prevent what seems to happen with alarming regularity, these terrible, terrible tragedies. The fact is there is a tiny number of people in this world, localized in this terrible group called ISIS, a tiny number of people who are committed, above all else, to killing people. To committing random acts of terror, you know, and they think it's in the service of a noble purpose to slaughter little children, to slaughter, and the more innocent the victim, it seems the more victorious they feel. Well, to me, the response that I advocate, and I'm not opposing these other measures, they do make life increasingly inconvenient, and they do seem to be futile. But to me, the response we need is to be ever more committed to one another. Rather than increasing the steps of prevention, which I don't oppose, I just think it's missing the point. We need to increase the steps of connection. We need to increase our feeling of community, increase our feeling of prizing life, increase our feeling of reaching out to one another, because the more connected we can make our global community, the more trust we can build, the more allied we can be with one another, the more difficult it will be for these people to penetrate and bring us down. We really can't stop them from killing people. I have a terrible feeling as long as this tiny percentage of people does exist, until we're able somehow to locate them and eliminate them. As long as they exist, it's probably going to continue to happen. But what we don't have to do is allow them to put us in a kind of living prison for the rest of our lives. We don't have to allow them to lock us up in a prison of fear as they throw away the key. We don't have to let them allow us to live in fear, day in, day out, kind of just waiting for the next attack. So I think the way to oppose these people is not through more and more steps at security after the event has happened, but rather more and more steps toward love, more and more steps toward community connection, more and more steps toward just relishing the life we have until it's taken from us. That's our victory over these twisted, deranged people. That's our victory. Our victory lies in living life the way we know we want to live it, using the freedom we do have to connect with one another and look out for each other, and not allow this terrible, tiny group of people to put us in a kind of prison, emotional prison of fear. To me, that's my response to this. I want to get up today and go out into the meeting I'm going to go out into with just a bold feeling of, here, watch out, life, here I come. I'm not holding back on life out of fear. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to let this kind of thing turn me into a terrified, cowering human being. And I don't think any of us wants to allow that to happen. So my hope for all of you and for myself, be bold, be brave, stand up, reach out, connect. Use the tools we do have rather than letting these people lock us up in a prison that they have created that none of us deserves. Well, okay, from San Diego, this is Ned Hallowell for Distraction, wishing you all a warm, glorious, connected day in spite of the terrible thing that happened, and maybe even because of it. Well, goodbye for now.